She asked me not to tell anyone. I wasn't supposed to be there that night. If I had stayed home, if I had ignored the voicemail, none of this would have happened. But at 10:47 p.m., my phone lit up with her name, and when I played the message, I knew something was wrong. Evan, I need you. Please don't tell anyone you're coming. Her voice wasn't crying, it was steady. That's what scared me. Claire and I had been divorced for 4 years. We weren't enemies. We weren't friends either. We were two people who once loved each other and slowly became strangers under the same roof. No dramatic betrayal, no screaming matches, just distance. The kind that grows quietly until you look up and realize you don't recognize the person across the table. We shared one thing after the divorce. Our daughter, Lily, 16 years old, smart, sharp, too observant for her age, and lately, different, quieter. When I pulled up to Claire's house, every light was on. The front door was unlocked. That never happened. Claire was careful, structured, predictable. I stepped inside slowly. Claire. No answer. The air felt wrong, heavy, like something had already happened. Then I heard Lily's voice from upstairs, soft, panicked. Dad? I ran. Claire was sitting on the edge of the bed, perfect posture, hands folded, like she was waiting for a meeting to begin. There was a half-empty glass of water on the nightstand and a pill bottle beside it. My heart slammed against my ribs. Mom won't wake up, Lily whispered. I looked at Claire. Her eyes were open, but she wasn't moving. I rushed forward, shook her shoulders. Nothing. Her breathing was shallow, too shallow. We called 911. Everything after that blurred into flashing lights and sterile white hallways. But the moment that stayed with me was in the ambulance. Lily holding my hand so tight it hurt, and whispering, "She told me not to tell you." That sentence didn't make sense. She told you not to tell me what? Lily looked away. That she was tired. Claire survived that night. Barely. They pumped her stomach. They stabilized her. And by morning, she was in a hospital room with pale walls and a quiet machine tracking her heartbeat. When she opened her eyes, she didn't look relieved. She looked disappointed. At herself, or at us. I couldn't tell. "You shouldn't have come," she said weakly. I stared at her. "You called me." She closed her eyes. "No. I called you because I knew you'd come." That's when the first crack appeared. This wasn't impulsive. It wasn't a cry for help. It was planned. She didn't want to die. She wanted to see who would show up. The doctors said depression, stress, burnout. But that didn't fit. Claire was the strong one. After the divorce, she rebuilt everything. New job, new routines, new life. Except lately. Lily had been spending more time in her room, more time online, more time with someone Claire didn't approve of. A boy, older, 21. I had argued about it before. Claire had dismissed it. She's just rebelling. 3 days after the hospital, Lily came to my apartment unexpectedly. She didn't sit. She paced. She wasn't sad, Lily said suddenly. What? She wasn't depressed. She was scared. That was the second crack. Scared of what? Lily finally said it. She found something. What did she find? Messages. My stomach tightened. What kind of messages? From him. The 21-year-old boy. Claire had gone through Lily's phone one night. She wasn't proud of it, but something felt wrong. What she found wasn't teenage flirting. It was manipulation, control, threats disguised as affection. If you ever leave me, I'll ruin you. If your mom finds out, I'll send the pictures. Pictures. I felt cold. Claire confronted him, alone, without telling me, without telling anyone. She drove to his apartment, told him to stay away from her daughter. He laughed, and then he said something that changed everything. You should be more worried about yourself. 2 days later, anonymous emails started arriving. To Claire's workplace, to her colleagues, fabricated screenshots, fake accusations, hints of an inappropriate relationship with a student. Claire was a high school counselor. The emails implied misconduct. They weren't explicit, just enough to plant doubt. An internal investigation started quietly. She didn't tell me. She didn't tell Lily. She carried it alone. And then came the third crack. The boy's father, a city councilman, powerful, connected, protected. Claire realized something I didn't. This wasn't just a teenage mistake. This was a family that would destroy reputations to protect their son. She documented everything. Screenshots, emails, timelines. But when she tried to submit them formally, the investigation suddenly paused. Funding issues, scheduling conflicts, administrative review, all excuses. And that's when she decided something I will never forget. She thought if she disappeared quietly, the investigation would stop. The pressure on Lily would end. The whispers would fade. She believed sacrificing herself would protect our daughter. When she admitted that to me in the hospital, I couldn't breathe. You thought dying would solve this. She didn't cry. I thought it would make them stop. That was the moment I realized something terrifying. Claire wasn't weak. She was cornered, and cornered people make desperate calculations. But here's the part no one saw coming. 2 weeks after she came home from the hospital, Lily ran away. She left a note. I can't let you keep fighting my battles. My blood turned to ice. We found her 3 days later, not hurt, not kidnapped. She had gone to the police, alone, with copies of everything Claire had gathered, and something more. Voice recordings of the boy threatening her. Clear, undeniable. She had been recording him for months. The investigation reopened, publicly this time. The councilman's influence backfired. The story leaked. Media picked it up. Claire's name was cleared, but the cost was trust. One night, months later, after everything had quieted down, Claire and I sat at the kitchen table. Lily was upstairs, safe. Claire looked at me and said something I still think about. I didn't want to die. I just didn't know how to live with the fear. And here's the final twist. The voicemail, the one that brought me there that night. It wasn't recorded that evening. It was recorded 3 hours earlier, and then deleted. Claire didn't remember sending it. Lily did. She had restored it from the trash folder and sent it to me from her mom's phone. because she knew her mother was planning something, because she had been watching her spiral, because she refused to lose both of us. Claire thought she was protecting Lily. Lily was protecting Claire, and I was the only one who didn't see it until everything almost ended. Today, people call Claire strong, resilient, a survivor, but strength isn't what saved her. It was connection. It was the refusal to stay silent. It was a 16-year-old girl who chose truth over fear. Sometimes the most dangerous lies aren't told by enemies. They're told by parents who think they're protecting their children. And sometimes the bravest person in the room is the one you thought needed protecting.